Okay, how about another video, a flashback? This is 2 years into the investigation. What is this? April 2019, I think, is the month that they came out with the second sketch, the young guy sketch, the Betsy Blair sketch that she gave them days after the murders. And she said, "Why aren't you using my sketch?" I don't think she was very happy when she said that. But the young man, 20 to 30 years old with the brown poofy hair, who several people think is a certain person with the first initial of D. And no, I will not. No, I will not elaborate. All right, let's get into the video.
Now at 6, never before seen video and audio now in the public's hands, all in hopes of catching this man, the killer of 2 Delphi daughters. And investigators believe he is no stranger.
We likely have interviewed you. Or someone close to you.
He could be from Delphi. He could work nearby. And he definitely believes he got away with it.
To the killer who may be in this room. We believe you are hiding in plain sight.
They're hunting him, and they're committed to seeing this case through. Live RTV 16 coverage from the...
You know, I got to... this would be so interesting. I would love to hear someone in and around this person who is young guy sketch. His name starts with the letter D, from what I understand. God, I would love to hear them talk about this time when this sketch goes out there. Was he shaking in his fucking boots? I would be... Can you imagine if there was a police sketch and it vaguely resembled your countenance, your face? Oh my God. It'd be sweating fucking bullets, you know what I mean? I would love it. Hey, this is you, right? This is young guy sketch. This is you. You're out there that day. You're out there with the side chick, not your girlfriend, right? Arguing with her under the bridge, something like that. What went through your mind when you saw the young guy sketch and it's plastered all over town and it vaguely resembles you? I would love to hear his honest, raw thoughts of how he felt. Boy, did your parents ever recognize it? Did your sisters, your brothers, your classmates, your friends, did they ever say, "Holy shit, that looks a lot like you, bro"? Where were you that day?
Heartland starts right now. And thank you for being here with us. I'm Amanda Starantino. New recordings and audio tonight taken from the phone of one of the Delphi girls whose lives were cut short. New evidence in how this could turn and change the investigation. RTV6 has live team coverage tonight with Call 6 investigators Rafael Sanchez and Paris Bell. Rafael, talk to us. What are we learning today?
Amanda, good evening. A series of new details released today that police are really hoping will lead to that arrest and maybe even a trial right there in the building behind me, the Carroll County Courthouse.
We also believe this person is from Delphi. Currently, or has previously lived here.
Carrie Timmons did not need to say a word for the world to be reminded of the deep loss being felt by the families of Libby German and Abby Williams. Raw emotions as new details became public more than 2 years after the girls were killed. A new sketch of the prime suspect, described as an 18 to 40-year-old man who may live, work, or visit in Delphi. For the first time, moving video of the suspect on the Monon High Bridge was released. This video that Libby German secretly recorded when the suspect approached her and Abby on the bridge back on February 13, 2017. State police also shared a bit more of the audio from that video. In the past, we've heard the 3 words, "down the hill." Now listen closely to the new release. That previous audio recording composed of 3 words, "down the hill." The new recording adds an extra word, "guys down the hill." Police are hoping that all of this new information put together will give the public here in Carroll County and around the world more information that may lead to a possible arrest and, of course, the prime suspect to be behind bars. Calls investigates Pastor Bell joins me here in Delphi. You've been talking to a lot of the folks here in the town of 3,000. They're beginning now to sort of see how this information will impact them. What are they telling you, and how do they plan to use the information?
Raphael, for 2.5 years, investigators have released very little information on this case, but that all changed today. There were about 100 people that were there at the press conference from the community, and there was some shock and some frustration, but there's also some now new renewed hope. It came as a shock to everyone.
It's been 2.5 years. Why did they sit on this?
Frustration from the community after state police releasing significant new details on the investigation for the very first time.
You know, it's been a witch hunt around here. We all want justice.
Investigators releasing a clip of video, a clip of audio, but the biggest reaction, an audible gasp from the audience, came from the release of this new sketch.
We've all been looking for the wrong man for 2.5 years.
Police now saying that this new sketch is the primary sketch of the suspect on the bridge.
To see the sketch we've been seeing and to see this now, it's like, you know, like, it's completely different.
They just handed me this picture. I was surprised. The picture shows him to be much younger.
Investigators say they believe this man is between 18 and 40 years old and could appear younger than he actually is. Police also now saying they believe the man is from Delphi, is familiar with the area, or maybe works in the area.
As a Delphi citizen, I've always felt that way.
It could be someone around here.
I always thought he would be from Delphi.
Delphi has changed. You know, how we, instead of greeting your neighbor, you know, with a handshake and a smile at the grocery store, now you look at everybody with suspicion.
But with all the frustration, there's also new hope.
I think they will. I hope so. I know I'm Pokemon. We constantly keep our eye open.
I hope we get closure, yes. Soon.
Back live here in Delphi, State Police were not taking any questions from the media today. So one of the many questions that people have on Facebook and throughout our social media pages on RTV6 is they want to know why today, why now all of this information?
Raphael, investigators have been keeping a lot of the information in this case close to the vest. We've been talking to our sources. They say they've reached a point now in the investigation that they thought it was time to release this, and that is why they're doing it today.
Calls investigates Pastor Bell. Thank you so much. Today, State Police Superintendent Doug Carter did have a message for the family. It was a raw emotion for him as he was not only talking about the killer at one point, but then he turned to his left and addressed the family of both Abby and Libby. This is what he had to say.
I just want the family to know that when I take my last breath on this earth, I'll be thinking of them. There's going to be a tremendous amount of questions. I know that. I know that. Never in my career have I stood in front of something like this. Please be patient with us. Please. We're just beginning. We are just now beginning. And I can tell you on behalf of the sheriff and the police chief, so many other partners that have stood with us over this period of time, that we will not stop.
Let me back it up. There's a story that I read, and this might be the interview. This might be the press conference. There was a story that Doug Carter is, you know, he's the spokesman who does all the press conferences, and he handles most of the talking. There's a story that I read that Tobe Lesenby was insistent that he be up there on stage since he's the acting sheriff of Carroll County. And so Carter didn't want him up there. And he finally, Tobe keeps pressing him. I want to be up there. I want to be up there. And Carter finally gives in and goes, fine, stand there and look like a fucking idiot. I kind of laughed when I read that in the book. I thought it was funny. There were little insider accounts of all the tension and doubt and confusion and the exhaustion behind the scenes. I really enjoyed that. That was in the Murder Sheet book, I think, that I read that. Either that or the True Crime Garage book. Okay, I think this is pretty much over.
Rafael Sanchez, RTP6.
Rafael, thank you. And if you know anything, please report it. There is a tip line set up, plus a tip.
So I have also heard that this person, the young guy sketch, this guy who his name starts with the letter D, I have heard that he had some sort of school project where he made a skit, made a home video of a story about him investigating or hunting down or being a part of an abduction of someone that happens in and around the Monon High Bridge. And I have seen the video footage of this school project that he made. And this was years before 2017. Don't you think that's odd? Don't you find that strange? He's out there with his side chick that day. Flannel shirt guy, one of the McCain brothers, tells Derek German, "No, I haven't seen two teenage girls, just some man and a woman, girlfriend, boyfriend, down under the bridge arguing. Sorry, haven't seen them, Derek." And so Derek hears that, and he decides not to go the route of the Monon Bridge, but one of the other fork prongs on a different trail. I also heard a story, since we're here talking about Young Guy Sketch, I heard a story that Skip Jansen went on True Crime Garage podcast back in August of 2021. And he talked specifically about this Young Guy Sketch, and he talked more in depth about the person who it is. First letter D in his name. And that Skip Jansen alleges that when that episode went live, Kelsey German threw a fit on Twitter, apparently in response to this episode going up. And the True Crime Garage hosts couldn't get her to settle down or stop, something like that. That's the account I read a few days ago. All right, so what do you think about Young Guy Sketch here? Go ahead, put it in the comments. Am I accurate? Am I off base? Am I missing something? Is there something I'm failing to recall? Go ahead, put it in the comments.